Stop. Right now, whatever you're doing, stop. Because what I'm about to tell you will shatter every belief you have about your worth, your relationships, and your power. You've been living a lie, a beautiful, suffocating, soul-crushing lie that's been fed to you since childhood. They told you that being available makes you valuable. They told you that saying yes makes you lovable. They told you that your worth is measured by how much you sacrifice for others. They lied. Marcus Aurelius, while commanding the greatest empire the world had ever seen, discovered a truth so powerful it could topple kingdoms. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. But here's what he really meant. The moment you stop giving your power away through pathetic availability, you don't just find strength, you become unstoppable. Do you want to know the most terrifying thing about you? You've become invisible, not because you're not good enough, but because you're everywhere. You're so available, so predictable, so desperately eager to please that you've dissolved into the wallpaper of everyone else's life. You're the human equivalent of elevator music, always there, never truly heard. But what if I told you that inside your chest beats the heart of a king? What if I told you that your unavailability isn't just attractive, it's magnetic? What if I told you that the very thing you've been terrified of, disappointing others, being called selfish, losing people, is actually the nuclear weapon that will obliterate your mediocre life and birth a legendary one? Right now, as you watch this, your soul is screaming. It's screaming because it recognizes the truth I'm speaking. It's screaming because you've been suffocating it with your people-pleasing, your constant availability, your desperate need to be needed. Your soul is a warrior trapped in the prison of politeness. In the next few minutes, we're going to perform surgery on your life. We're going to cut out the cancer of constant availability and transplant the titanium spine of selective presence. These aren't just 7 points. These are 7 resurrections, 7 deaths of who you've been, 7 births of who you're destined to become. But first, you need to make a commitment, not to me, but to the version of yourself that's been buried alive under everyone else's expectations. Hit that like button if you're ready to stop being everyone's doormat and start being someone's obsession. Comment below with the word reborn if you're done being taken for granted. Share this with someone who's drowning in their own availability. Subscribe to join an army of people who've chosen themselves and won. Don't you dare skip a single second of this video. Each word is a bullet designed to kill your old life and birth your new one. Now, let's get into it. Listen to me carefully. The most seductive person in any room isn't the one talking to everyone. It's the one sitting in the corner, completely content in their own energy, completely unbothered by who notices and who doesn't. They've discovered the most intoxicating force in human psychology: mystery. You know what's pathetic? You've made yourself so available that you've become boring. Not because you are boring, but because there's nothing left to discover. You've given away every secret, answered every call, shared every thought. You've become a book that everyone's already read and put back on the shelf. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Be like the rocky headland on which the waves constantly break. It stands firm, and round it the seething waters are laid to rest." Do you understand what he's saying? He's saying become the storm that others seek shelter in, not the leaf blown around by everyone else's wind. I'm going to tell you about Rachel. Rachel used to be everyone's emotional dumping ground. Her phone buzzed every 30 seconds with someone's crisis, someone's drama, someone's desperate need for attention. She felt important. She felt needed. She felt empty. Then something snapped. She turned off her phone for one evening. Just one. When she turned it back on, she had 47 messages. People were panicking. Where was she? Was she okay? Why wasn't she responding? For the first time in years, Rachel felt powerful, not because she was being cruel, but because she realized her presence had value. Her attention was currency. Her availability was a privilege, not a right. Within 3 months, something miraculous happened. The people who truly cared about her started scheduling time with her instead of assuming she'd be free. They prepared for conversations instead of just dumping thoughts. They earned her attention instead of demanding it. She went from being everyone's backup plan to being someone's first choice. Your mystery isn't deception, it's self-preservation. It's saying, my inner world is a kingdom, and citizenship must be earned. Brace yourself for the most uncomfortable truth you'll hear today. People don't respect what they can easily access. They respect what has the courage to say no. They bow to what refuses to bow to them. You want to know why nobody respects you? Because you've taught them that you're free. Free service, free time, free emotional labor, free everything. And what do people do with free things? They abuse them. They waste them. They throw them away when something shinier comes along. Epictetus understood this when he wrote, "No one can hurt you without your permission. But here's the part that will make your blood boil. Every single day, you give that permission. Every time you say yes when your soul is screaming no. Every time you smile when you want to rage. Every time you accept less than you deserve because you're afraid of being called difficult." I watched David transform from office doormat to department legend in 6 months. How? He stopped being available for everything. When his boss tried to dump extra work on him, David said, "I can take this on, but something else will have to be rescheduled." When colleagues expected him to work late again, he said, "I have commitments." Not aggressively, not rudely, with the quiet confidence of someone who knows his worth. The result? His boss stopped seeing him as the easy option and started seeing him as the valuable option. Colleagues stopped taking advantage and started seeking his approval. His salary increased by 40% because scarcity creates value, and value demands compensation. But here's the part that will give you chills. The people who get angry when you set boundaries are the exact people who've been using you. Their anger is confession. Their frustration is evidence that they saw you as their personal servant, not their equal. Respect isn't earned through service. Respect is commanded through self-respect. The moment you start treating yourself like royalty, the world has no choice but to bow. Prepare to have your mind obliterated. The most attractive force in the universe isn't someone desperately reaching for you. It's someone who doesn't need to reach at all. Someone so complete, so powerful, so magnificently self-contained that they become a gravitational force that pulls everything toward them. You've been doing attraction backwards your entire life. You've been the one chasing, calling, texting, planning, hoping, waiting. You've been the beggar in the kingdom of love, friendship, and opportunity. But here's what will shatter your reality. Beggars repel, kings attract. Marcus Aurelius discovered the secret when he wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking." He understood that the moment you stop needing external validation, you become magnetically irresistible, not because you're playing games, but because you've become the prize. Let me destroy your illusions about Jessica. Jessica used to chase men like a starved animal chases scraps. She texted first, planned dates, tolerated disrespect, accepted breadcrumbs. She was available 24/7 for anyone who showed her the smallest amount of attention. Then she had her awakening. She disappeared. Not physically, but energetically. She stopped texting first. She started saying no to last-minute plans. She developed obsessions, rock climbing, painting, building her business. She became so busy living her magnificent life that she didn't have time to chase anyone. And something terrifying happened. They started chasing her. The man she'd been pursuing for months suddenly became obsessed. Not because she played hard to get, but because she became hard to get. She wasn't available because she was busy being magnificent. Her calendar was full because her life was full. Here's the truth that will set you free. Independence is aphrodisiac. When you stop needing anyone's attention, everyone wants your attention. When you stop needing anyone's validation, everyone seeks your validation. When you become complete within yourself, others become desperate to complete themselves with you. Your availability was never kindness. It was weakness. Your independence isn't cruelty. It's power. Listen to the sound of power shifting. Can you hear it? It's the sound of someone who spent years begging for scraps, suddenly owning the entire feast. It's the sound of someone who bent the knee to everyone, suddenly having everyone bent to them. Every relationship is a chess game, and until now, you've been playing checkers. You've been moving predictably, desperately, transparently. But the person who needs the relationship least doesn't just have power. They are power. They don't just win the game, they become the game. Epictetus, who went from slave to emperor of minds, wrote, "Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants." Do you understand the nuclear bomb he just dropped? He's saying that the moment you stop wanting what others have, you become what others want. Watch Marcus transform from corporate slave to corporate king in 18 months. He used to stay late every night, accept every project, never take vacation days. He was the reliable one, the dependable one, the expendable one. Then he had his resurrection. He started leaving at exactly 5 p.m. He took his vacation days. He said no to projects outside his scope. His boss panicked. His colleagues whispered. But something extraordinary happened. Instead of being fired, he was promoted. Not once, but twice in 18 months. Why? Because he stopped acting like someone who needed the job and started acting like someone the job needed. He went from being replaceable to being irreplaceable, not because his skills changed, but because his energy changed. Here's the truth that will make you dangerous. Desperation repels opportunity. Confidence attracts success. When you stop needing everyone's approval, you start earning everyone's respect. When you stop begging for inclusion, you start being pursued for participation. Power isn't taken. Power is assumed. And you've been assuming powerlessness for far too long. Your energy is being murdered every single day, every single moment. By energy, vampires disguised as friends, family, colleagues, and strangers who've convinced you that your life force is their birthright. You think you're being kind by giving everyone access to your energy, but you're not being kind. You're being suicidal. You're committing slow-motion murder of your own soul, one yes at a time. one favor at a time, one crisis at a time that isn't even yours. Marcus Aurelius understood the sacred nature of energy when he wrote, "Confine yourself to the present." He wasn't talking about mindfulness, he was talking about energy warfare. He was saying, stop bleeding your life force into everyone else's problems and start hoarding it for your own greatness. Let me tell you about the energy revolution that transformed Amanda from zombie to goddess. She used to be everyone's emergency contact, therapist, problem solver, and emotional dumping ground. She was exhausted, anxious, depressed, and completely depleted. Her creativity was dead. Her dreams were buried. Her spirit was flatlined. Then she committed energy murder. She murdered her availability to everyone else's chaos. She became unavailable to drama, crisis, and emergency that wasn't life-threatening. She started treating her energy like the sacred fuel it is. Within 60 days, she was unrecognizable. Her creativity exploded back to life. Her business doubled. Her anxiety vanished. Her skin glowed. Her eyes sparkled. People started asking what her secret was. Her secret? She stopped giving her life force away for free. Here's the truth that will liberate you. Your energy is your everything. It's your creativity, your peace, your power, your potential, your destiny. Every time you waste it on someone else's chaos, you're stealing from your own greatness. Guard your energy like you guard your life, because it is your life. Prepare for the most brutal truth about relationships. You've been collecting people like trading cards, thinking quantity equals connection. But you've been drowning in a sea of shallow souls while thirsting for one drop of authentic love. Every shallow relationship in your life exists because you've been available to mediocrity. You've accepted surface-level friendships, meaningless conversations, and energy-draining connections because you were terrified of being alone. But here's the revelation that will shatter your world. Being alone is better than being with people who don't see your soul. Marcus Aurelius, surrounded by thousands, yet choosing solitude for his deepest thoughts, wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." He understood that true connection requires ruthless selection. You cannot be a sacred temple to everyone and still be sacred to anyone. Watch Elena's relationship apocalypse. She had 200 friends on speed dial, was invited to every party, knew everyone's business. She felt popular, she felt connected, she felt completely empty. Then she performed the most courageous act of her life. She became unavailable to superficiality. She stopped accepting every invitation. She stopped being everyone's therapist. She stopped participating in gossip, drama, and meaningless chatter. Her phone got quieter. Her calendar got emptier. People called her antisocial, stuck up, changed. But then something miraculous happened. From the ashes of 200 shallow connections, 5 soul connections emerged. 5 people who saw her transformation and celebrated it. 5 people who valued depth over drama, quality over quantity, truth over comfort. These weren't just friendships, they were soul alliances, conversations that changed her, support that empowered her, love that elevated her. She went from being everyone's entertainment to being someone's inspiration. Your availability should be earned, not assumed. Your energy should be treasured, not wasted. Your soul should be protected, not prostituted to anyone with a pulse. This is the moment your real life begins. Everything before this was just rehearsal. Everything before this was just you, practicing being someone else, wearing someone else's mask, living someone else's expectations. You want to know the most horrifying truth about your life? You've been performing in a play you never auditioned for, playing a character you never chose, following a script written by people who don't even know your name. You've been so busy being who everyone else needs you to be that you've forgotten who you are. Marcus Aurelius wrote his most revolutionary words: "To accept the unacceptable is to deny your own truth." He's telling you that every time you smile when you want to scream, every time you agree when you want to argue, every time you conform when you want to rebel, you commit suicide against your authentic self. Let me tell you about Michael's resurrection from the dead. For 37 years, he was the agreeable one, the accommodating one, the one who never caused problems. He had no opinions, no boundaries, no backbone. He was a ghost haunting his own life. Then he became unavailable to fake, unavailable to conversations that bored him, unavailable to people who drained him, unavailable to activities that deadened his soul, unavailable to being anyone except his authentic self. People called him selfish. They said he'd changed. They accused him of becoming difficult. They were right. He had changed. He'd stopped being their puppet and started being his own king. Within 1 year, he discovered he was an artist. He found his voice. He attracted his soulmate. He built his empire, not because he became someone new, but because he finally became someone true. Your authentic self isn't hidden. It's imprisoned by fear, by obligation, by the desperate need to be liked by people who don't even like themselves. This is your moment of total annihilation and complete rebirth. As we reach the end of this life-altering journey, I need you to understand something that will echo in your soul for the rest of your existence. You are not the same person who started watching this video. That person is dead, murdered by truth, obliterated by revelation, destroyed by the realization of their own magnificent power. Marcus Aurelius spent his final years writing to himself, not because he was selfish, but because he understood that self-revolution is the foundation of world revolution. He wrote, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Today, you don't just change your thoughts. You destroy your old thoughts and birth legendary ones. Right now, your old life is screaming. It's screaming because it knows it's dying. Your people-pleasing self is panicking because it feels its death approaching. Your available to everyone's self is terrified because it sees its own funeral. Let them die. From this moment forward, you are unavailable to mediocrity. You are unreachable to those who don't deserve your presence. You are unbreakable to those who try to diminish your power. You are unstoppable to those who doubt your greatness. Tomorrow morning, when the world tries to pull you back into your old patterns, when people demand your old availability, when they try to guilt you back into your cage, you will remember this moment. You will remember that you are royalty. You will remember that your time is sacred. You will remember that your energy is currency. You will remember that your presence is a privilege. The people who truly love you will celebrate your transformation. The people who used you will rage against it. Their reaction will tell you everything you need to know about who belongs in your kingdom. Your unavailability isn't cruelty, it's self-coronation. Your boundaries aren't walls, they're castle gates. Your selectivity isn't meanness, it's divine wisdom. If this message has awakened the king or queen within you, if you're ready to stop being everyone's option and start being your own first choice, then take action like your life depends on it. Smash that like button. Declare your transformation in the comments. Share this with someone who's ready to be reborn. Subscribe to join the army of people who chose themselves and won. The king is dead. Long live the king.